I worked for Georgia Power for 38 years.
Wendell has been doing these ramps for a long time. He knows what needs to be done.
We've all worked around each other for years. It's just a good feeling when you get through with one. It's just a blessing to us to know that we can get out and help somebody else.
There you go.
Feel good to you?
Be informed, you gotta know what's going on in our community. So together we can make a change, you and me. Yeah, be in contact.
Happy New Year! Thank you for tuning into the first episode of In Contact for the 2019 season. I'm your host, Kat Witherspoon, and we have an exciting show in store and an exciting season with some really exciting changes that I can't wait to share with you. As you can tell, I'm pretty excited. Okay, so hang tight until the end of the show to learn more about some of the exciting news I'd like to share. But first, let's jump right into today's discussion, the revitalization of Atlanta's Vine City and historic Westside area. All right, so on February the 3rd, just a few long-awaited weeks away, Super Bowl 53 takes place right here in Atlanta's own Mercedes-Benz Stadium, home of the Atlanta Falcons. While there is much excitement around hosting the 49th NFL championship game, there are still some mixed feelings about the development plans to revitalize that area and the stadium when plans to do so with the Georgia Dome project in 1992 never happened. Home prices in the area surrounding the stadium are rising, and that area has been plagued by crime and occupied by residents who have lived below the poverty line and now one of the most desirable areas in the city. Our In Contact Man on the Street team asked fellow Falcons fans and Atlantans how they feel about what's going on the west side of Atlanta. We will hear from them throughout the show, but first, let me introduce to you our first in-studio guest. He is the second vice president of the Atlanta chapter of the NAACP and the chair of the Criminal Justice Committee for the Georgia NAACP. And most recently, he was honored for his community activism by Congressman John Lewis during the 2016 Congressional Black Caucus Conference in Washington, D.C. He is committed to community service throughout Georgia, and we are honored to have him with us today. Please welcome native Atlantan attorney Gerald A. Griggs, aka the Justice Fighter. Welcome to In Contact.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's jump right into the conversation. What are your thoughts on the changes surrounding the English Avenue and Vine City area?
I think in concept it was a great idea, but in actual application, it's been problematic for the citizens that reside there.
How so?
I think that they're being displaced at an alarming rate. I think that the resources are not going to the much needed communities and the people, and I think that it's going to be another situation like we've had in the previous stadiums.
Now, when you say another situation like we've had in the previous stadiums, could you give our viewers a little bit of a history lesson on what happened before?
Okay, well, Atlanta's had numerous stadiums, starting with Atlanta Fulton County Stadium to Turner Field to the old Georgia Dome. And each time the government has made promises to those communities about benefits that were not materialized. And I'm afraid that the same thing is going to happen with the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So we need to have a real conversation about community development that does not involve gentrification and displacement.
Now, who will we have those conversations with?
Our elected officials, namely the mayor, city council, and then ultimately the state government, because they all have a place to play in making sure that the tax base, the taxes don't rise on the property taxes, and then we have rent controls and property controls to make sure that no one is displaced because of the rise in property value.
Now, isn't there a program that they have already established to resolve that issue? Because I know that I think the prices in those areas would like rise in with like an alarm, like you said before, an alarm array. I want to say like 60% within a few months. But what can we expect of our leadership that they aren't already doing now? We see the changes happening. We see that there are some improvements that are being made. But what in its entirety, what can they do right now they aren't doing?
We need legislation that makes sure that the individuals that are in those homes can continue to afford the home. So again, Georgia's the type of state where you cannot have rent control. Maybe for that area, we ease that restriction. Maybe there's a trust fund that needs to be established that's fully funded to make sure it pays the property taxes. So those are some ideas. Of course, we need job skills and job training and economic development and investment in those communities to make sure the people can keep their homes, bring their homes up to code, make sure that they're not being displaced by individuals that are doing predatory lending and that are coming in and buying up the property. So these are some ideas, but really talking to the citizens and making sure that there's a benefits agreement that has teeth.
So we understand that with the Georgia Dome project that there were promises to be made. So now we have the stadium. Do you see that maybe the stadium is bringing those promises to fruition?
No, I still see the same thing going on. We see the development around the stadium, but we don't see the development in the community that's right next to the stadium. We see a barrier on Northside Drive, and we see a bridge over Northside Drive, which is $20 million, but we don't see $20 million or $100 million worth of investment as you continue to go into the community. So that's the type of thing we're talking about. We're talking about homes that are going to be gentrified. We're talking about streets that already have a bike path going all the way down. That's not for the community that's there. That's for the community that's coming. My concern is we need to make sure that both people are made to feel welcome and to continue to stay and to make that community what the residents want to see for the last 40 years, but now they're seeing and they're afraid that they're going to be moved out.
Now, there are some folks that think that the stadium is a blessing. So for those people, what do you have to say about it being a blessing too?
Well, my question is, why does it seem to be a blessing? We had a beautiful dome that had hosted a Super Bowl, that had hosted national championships games. We didn't need another one. But if we got another one, how is it a blessing? How is it putting jobs into the community that it sits in? That's my question. So again, I understand it's shiny and it's new and it's got all the bells and whistles, but 15 years from now, what is that community going to look like? And is it still going to have the residents that are there right now? Because we had 20 years of the Georgia Dome and 20 years of failed promises. We had 20 years of Turner Field and Summer Hill still looks the same.
Thanks to Georgia Power, we cut our energy costs by 5,400 rolls of gauze.
By 570 new library books.
Over 7,000 eggs.
Spend less on energy and put more money back into your business. Visit georgiapower.com/commercial savings.
Our In Contact Man on the Street team asks fellow Falcons fans and Atlantans how they feel about what's going on the west side of Atlanta.
Here from Man in the Street, I have Sweet Tea and Chef Blue from Poking Around Grill. They're serving the people at the tailgate, but I got a quick question for y'all. What do you guys feel about the Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
Well, we like it and we don't like it at the same time.
All right, why so?
Because they kind of moved all of the older people out, and then they sold their houses and offered them little or nothing for their houses, and then sold the property for a whole lot of money.
Wow. What do you feel about the Chef Blue?
I agree the same way, because also it's a good idea because of all the jobs that's coming in for people.
Okay, so it brings jobs in, but it misplaced elderly people.
Absolutely.
So it's sort of a bittersweet thing.
Yes. Absolutely.
So if you had to make a definitive decision, keep it or let it go? Like if you could just erase time.
Let it go.
Let it go?
Yeah, I'll let it go.
Wow, well you've heard from Poking Around Grill.
Poking around Grill.
Sweet Tea and Chef Blue, thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, I'm Tamiko, and I'm interviewing for Man on the Street. This is Mr. Urban Hunter, and we're going to talk to you about the gentrification, and what are your thoughts about the new stadium?
Well, my thoughts, I stay in Vine City. I used to stay in Vine City, but I stay in MLK now. I was told, they tore down 2 churches to build a dome.
Yeah.
So, Arthur Blunt gave them a lot of money, but I don't think the Falcons will win because they tore down 2 churches. That's what I was told.
Okay.
And They told out 2 churches just to build 1 dome. They shouldn't have did it.
It should have did it. So those are your thoughts on it.
Yeah, that's my thought.
So do you think that there is going to be a profit bringing Atlanta, you know, with the stadium coming to Atlanta? Do you think it's going to profit the city?
It will profit, yes. It will profit, yes.
Okay, and how long have you been living in, you know, you grew up in Zion?
I grew up in, I'm an Atlanta native.
Okay.
So I've been here all my life.
All right.
So I seen the changes when the first dome to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yes.
So they tore down Lightning to build the dome.
Okay.
Now they tore down 2 churches to build Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So I've seen all the changes.
All the changes. So what about the displacement from like the families that have lived here for 50 years, 40 years? What do you think about that? Do you think that's fair to push them out?
It's kind of hard to say because they gave them money, but I don't know what they did with the money.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If they give them $75,000 back in 08, $75,000 the value is worth more now, but they could have bought houses. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I can't really speak on that.
Okay. Well, thank you for your interview.
All right.
All right, Mr. Urban Hunter. We're going to interview Mr. Jay Williams. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. So I wanted to just talk to you about the gentrification in Atlanta and what are your thoughts about the Mercedes-Benz Stadium? How long have you been here in Atlanta?
I'm 21, been around the area for all my life, 21 years. And it's great to see the city grow up. It's thriving and surviving. We got new things coming. The pop culture, rap culture, black culture, it's all centered right here in Atlanta. The hip hop culture with the Migos and everybody doing their thing. And a lot of people coming from all areas of the country to move in Atlanta and help it grow.
Some exciting stuff.
Exciting stuff, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So how do you feel like the Mercedes-Benz Stadium? Do you think that was a good idea?
I think, I believe that's our best investment as a city. Now we have the Super Bowl. Last year we had the college football playoff. We're gonna have all-star games here. You know, MLS championship game with the Atlanta United. It's, you know, it brings a lot of money, a lot of taxes. The hotel, motel tax come back in the city, and we build more things for a bigger and better city for the citizens.
Exactly. Now with the pros and cons, like with the gentrification that's going on,
yes,
what do you think, how do you feel about the gentrification with moving some of the elderly people out of the city right here in Atlanta?
Right here in my city, but with anything, progress is tough. Change is inevitable. I can't even say it right now.
It's okay.
Change has to come. You know, some people like it, some people don't. With anything, as you're rising up, things fall off. You know, things change, people change. But as a city, for us to get to where we're going, that's kind of the risk and the reward. You know,
so you think it can be worked out? Like it can be some balance?
It can definitely be worked out. But it's just part of if we're trying to get to where we're going, some things we're gonna have to sacrifice. And like, sadly, it's our elderly people in the community. But, you know, I think we can work something out for the best for them. Because a lot of them live in these communities for 40 and 50 years. And I know they would love to get a nice sky condo in downtown, live nice, don't have to worry about violence, gunshots, or anything.
Exactly. Well, there you have it, Mr. Jay Williams.
And this is a special interview because Chaz is a part of one of the churches that was displaced because of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. How are you doing today, Chaz?
Doing well.
Yes, sir. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the new Mercedes-Benz station and what it's done to your church?
It has provided us with a new church, as we did need repairs and everything on the old church. So there has, of course, been a divide.
Okay.
But we have all come together now and are, pretty satisfied with what we have come to know as our home.
Right, gotcha. So at one time, the church was sort of split between keep it, so like a bittersweet kind of thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
It's a lot of history, a lot of memories. And the word displaced means something to some people.
Yes.
Some people look at it as a closure, some people look at it as a beginning.
Right, gotcha. And how do you feel about it?
I look at it as a beginning. I think
a new beginning.
Yeah, I think the Lord makes blessings out of everything.
Wow, so there was lemonade turned out of lemons.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Chaz, man. Appreciate you.
No problem.
Georgia Power is always working to make the connection with our customers even stronger. With innovative solutions to make your life easier, thousands of places to pay your bill. Find rate plans that fit your lifestyle. Get questions answered in person or on social media. Even purchase energy-efficient products online. Now more than ever, there are so many new ways to connect to Georgia Power. Learn more at georgiapower.com.